Welcome, beautiful soul. I am truly glad you are here. This isn't just another wellness class or webinar. It is a sacred space, a space for you to slow down, breathe, and reconnect with something that's been calling you for a while, and that is yourself. I know many of you have been through a lot. You spent years showing up for so many other people, doing all the things, being strong and pushing through, exhaustion and putting your own needs on the back burner. And maybe you've tried all the quick fixes, all the programs, but nothing really seems to stick or feel right anymore. And yet, something inside of you has been stirring. A whisper or a feeling, knowing that there's more, more to who you are and more to life and more to how you want to feel and live. And that's, my friend, is your inner wellness warrior rest waking up. And, she's always been she's always been there, part of you. She's been strong, wise, deeply intuitive, and, fiercely alive, even if you've forgotten her for a little while now. Today, I want you to know you don't need to do more, and you don't need to fix yourself, and you don't need to have it all figured out. You're here because you are ready to remember who you are. You're ready to reclaim your energy and your wellness and your power, but on your terms. And, I want you to know that you're not alone. So let's begin, hey. Just going to move. Hopefully that is out of the way there now. So my question to you is, are you ready to, you know, finally reconnect with the truest version of yourself? The woman beneath, all the roles, the noise, and the pressure to be everything for everyone. Are you ready to break free from the old patterns, and beliefs that have kept you stuck and small or perhaps even silent? Are you ready to reclaim your wellness and your self-worth and your soul deep power? Not from a place of fixing, but from remembering who you really are. And are you ready to learn some grounded strategies that help you rise into the radiant, the empowered, fully expressed woman you were always meant to be? Because, if your heart now, it whispers, yes, then you're exactly where you're meant to be. So let me share what we're going to be covering today. We're going to explore together today. So what we're first going to do, we're going to do a dive into the hidden reasons why so many women, they feel stuck, they feel overwhelmed, and they've kind of lost themselves. And even when they've been trying so hard, to do it all. Then what we're going to do, we're going to explore four core identities that so many of us, we carry it unconsciously. Identities that keeps us playing small, and it actually gives our power away. And we feel like we're not enough. And I'll also guide you through a series of powerful shifts that can help you to move from that survival to wholeness, in a way that feels, gentle, sustainable, and really deeply aligned with that woman that you're becoming. And you're going to walk away with proven tools that can support your energy and restore your alignment and reconnect with your inner truth and purpose. And it's not by doing more, it's actually by reconnecting what really truly matters. And, I want to say this is not about fixing you, it's actually about remembering you. And I'm so really honored to walk this path beside you today. So, again, hello everyone, and so welcome to you all. I am so guided and honored to be guiding you through this journey here today. For over 25 years, I've walked the path of wellness. I walked the path of transformation and most of all, self-discovery. And that's both as a practitioner and as a woman that has risen again and again from life's challenges. You know, I do hold many titles such as, remedial massage therapist, Pilates, yoga instructor, NLP and hypnotherapist, then coach and Reiki master and so on. But what I want to say beyond those qualifications, I'm a woman who's very deeply committed to helping others reclaim their power and awaken their radiance and feel truly at home in their body and their mind and their soul. I've supported hundreds of women in reconnecting with their truth, not through quick fixes or external validation, but through deep embodiment and mindset work and soulful movement and also conscious leadership. And I want to say I'm also a mum, a very proud mum, and like many of you, and I'm a proud grandma, or what I call mormor in Swedish, which is mother's mother. I am an absolute nature lover, and I'm an ex-international rower. I am a creator, and I'm a fierce believer in, feminine strength and softness. And many people know me as sometimes I say Viking because I'm originally from Sweden, the Viking Wellness Warrioress. And my mission is to help you rise to the most aligned, empowered version of you. So, welcome again. And so, let's begin. Hey. So, um, so many women, especially over 40, 40, 50, 60. They're doing everything right. They're eating right. They try to move their bodies. They're reading books. They're going to yoga. They do all the journaling and meditating. And yet, deep down, they're still feeling tired. They're still feeling disconnected. They feel unfulfilled. It's like something is really missing. Here's the truth. It is actually not because you're doing something wrong. It is definitely not that. It's because the model you've been handed, it was actually never designed for wholeness. We were taught to push, perform, please, but never rest, receive, or reclaim. And also, you've been handing all those quick fixes and surface level, solutions that don't actually get to the root cause. You've lost touch with your body's wisdom. You know, I'm just going to move this out of the way. Um, and, as I said, you lost touch with the body's wisdom, your feminine um, rhythm, and also your soul's truth. And you've been told, um, I'm just gonna make sure you stay off the camera there. That's fine. Um, you've been told to hustle, harder when you actually, what you need is actually alignment. That's what we need. Um, And that's why what worked before, like the diets, the routines, uh, the goal chasing, we've all done it. It no longer feels fulfilling because do you know what? You're not meant to force your way through life anymore. You're actually being called to rise in a completely new, whole way. I hope you can see the screen there. I'm pretty sure you can. Um, so before we dive in, let's just pause and gently acknowledge something really, really important. You know, so many women, they carry identities, and often this is what we do unconsciously. Uh, but that deeply shape how we approach wellness and healing and life in itself. So maybe you recognize yourself in one of these. The first one is the overgiver, and she's always caring for anyone, everyone else. And what happens is her own needs gets pushed down to the bottom of the list, and the rest feels like a luxury that she hasn't even earned. And deep down, she feels really exhausted, and she quietly wonders if she'll ever will be allowed to receive. You know, when I read this, I'm sure there will be a few of you that actually go, well, that's me. I can definitely say that I've been the overdoer big time. The next one, is we've got the perfectionist too, the doer, you know, trying to hold it all together, do it all right, look the part, never miss a beat. But she's tired, she's chasing the finish line, and it just keeps moving. So you're stuck in productivity and control, and you're really disconnected from softness and joy. Have you been there? I know I've been there many times too, pushing it forward, just doing, doing, doing. And then we got the numb one. It's like the one that suppresses it. That's a suppressed soul. And she's really flat, uninspired, has got low energy, but doesn't know how to shift it. So she's kind of really disconnected from her voice, her truth, and her desire. And she plays the role, does what is expected, but something inside feels that she's really dimmed and she's really hidden. Who's been there? I'm sure some of you have been there as well. And then we got the awakened but stuck. The awakened but stuck, or I call it, sometimes we call it the lost woman. She's in some kind of transition, life transition. She knows there's more, but she doesn't know how to embody it. Maybe the kids are grown, maybe she is in a relationship that has ended, or life just feels really unfamiliar, and she's quietly asking, who even am I now? Do you see parts of yourself in any of these? Because, there's no shame in in this space. The first thing to really changing is awareness, because when we become aware, that's when we start to have really amazing transformation. So we've been conditioned to believe that, wellness is about fixing. We're going to fix our weight, we're going to fix our pain, we're going to fix our thoughts, we're going to fix everything. But do you know what? True transformation actually doesn't come from control, pressure, or perfection. It comes from connection and it comes from flow. You know, from remembering that your body is not a project, it's actually a partner. And when you start to shift like that, and you start to trust your body instead of constantly trying to force or manipulating it, and you start to honor your natural rhythms instead of fighting against them, You start to let go of perfectionism and you start to begin to embrace really gentle, sustainable progress. So, ask yourself, what might happen if I softened instead of pushed? What could happen? Ask yourself that now. What could open for me if I allowed myself to feel safe in flow? Have you got that? Neglect to nourishment. You know, I want to say neglect isn't always loud or intentional. Sometimes it actually shows up as, busyness, burnout. There's a big one here. It's people pleasing or simply forgetting your own needs while you're trying to hold it up for everyone else. And it often happens when we're in survival mode. And, we're trying to do our best, but we slowly become more and more disconnected from ourselves. So, this shift is about gently running to nourishment in its truest form and not as a task, but it's actually as an act of love. It's very, very different to operate from this place, guys. And you do that when you start to work on discovering your inner wellness warrioress. So you start to nourish you with food that's good for you, that heals, that calms inflammation and, balances your hormones, because a lot of women just really has, just hormones totally out of whack. Do movement that supports you, and builds strength and honors your energy, but not movement that punishes the body. Again, that mindset of, oh, I've got to start doing that. And it's kind of linked to punishment. And that's not flow. Also rest and space to breathe, reflect and really reconnect to what's actually really, really matters to you. So, can I get you to ask yourself, how can I lovingly nourish myself today? Body, mind, and soul. How can I nourish myself? Not others, I'm actually talking to you guys, not anyone else. Okay, I'm talking right to you. What could you do to lovingly nourish yourself today? Now, you're not here to be everything for everyone else. You know, Overgiving, it often feels really noble. You hear it all the time. But, over times when you overgive, what it does, it actually disconnects you from your power and it disconnects you from your intuition and actually even our sense of self. So, what we start to do, we give out of habit, out of guilt, out of love. But when we give from an empty cup, we slowly start to lose the parts of us that really need tendering. So, this shift is about creating energetic and emotional boundaries, not to shut others out, but to stay rooted in your truth. So you start to honor your own time. You start to honor your peace, your energy, and your wellness and well-being as really sacred because, you know, this shift, it actually invites you to say yes to you without guilt and explanation, you know, and notice where your energy leaks and gently begin to repair them. And a big one is also to protect your peace and let your intuition guide you what you allow in. So I want you to ask yourself here, where am I giving my energy, and what might shift if I lovingly call it back? You know, how to lovingly say no and protect your peace. You know, this is about why boundaries are energetic self-care. It is so important. And there's so many women that need to really work on their boundaries. They simply very floppy boundaries. It's all about, overgiving. And it's actually not very spiritual. It's not very caring to do that. I'm just going to close that down. So, from suppression to expression, you know, so many women have learned to suppress their truth. Are you one of them? You know, they start to quieten their desires. They to soften their voice so they can be easier to love or less emotional. Oh my goodness. Even when it means disconnecting from who they really are. Have you been in that position? I certainly have. But holding it all in, what happens is it actually creates a lot of tension. It creates a lot of fatigue. It creates so much resentment, and it creates so much numbness. And most of all, what happens is you start to disconnect from your authentic self. So what this shift is about is it's about reclaiming your right to feel, your right to speak, and to be really fully expressed. Because you know what? Your voice matters, and your truth is actually really sacred. And you know what? Your emotions are not too much. Because what they are, they're really powerful messengers, and they're actually here to guide you home. So what this shift is all about, it's about honor the words that you are afraid to speak. So you reclaim your voice, your desires, and the truth. And you start to listen to your feelings without needing to fix or hide them. And you start to trust that your vulnerability is a strength, it's actually not a weakness. So can I get you to ask yourself, what truth have I been holding back? And how can I lovingly honor it today? What truth have you been holding back? We're in a time where we really got to be, we're becoming more consciously aware every day. This is the time now to step into your authentic truth. The time is here now, and I've got the tools for you to really do that. From shrinking to radiating. Do you know what? You've been small long enough, and it's really time to embody her. It's the thing is, you were never meant to shrink. You were never meant to hide or play small, because you were actually born to take up a space with your light and your voice and your energy and your truth. But somewhere along the way, you maybe learn to dim your light, you know, and what were you doing that for? It was probably because, you know, it made others feel more comfortable. Yeah. That staying small kept you safe. Um, that shining too bright made you just too much. So it's time to really release those stories, and because your radiance is not only allowed, it's actually needed. It really is needed now. The shift is about fully embracing who you are, and that's all your talents or your presence and being your rightful place in the world, unapologetically, unfiltered, unshaken. And that's usually what I say. And this shifts actually invites you to shine without shame or fear, um, and or fear of judgment. So you got to stand in your presence, in your power, even when the voice shakes or trembles, become the woman your younger self dreamed of, the bold, the feeling free, alive, just doing what you love, live as the woman you were born to be. We can do that through mirror work, embodiment, reclaiming the presence. So ask yourself, what would it look like to fully embody that radiant version of me today? Let's see if I can find the other. Here's the other slide. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. You don't need to do it all overnight. All right. This is really important. Let's take a moment to just integrate what I've been talking about, because this isn't about doing this all at once. It's actually a journey. It is a journey. It's not a sprint. And your healing, your awakening, it doesn't need to be rushed, because every little small aligned choice you make from this point forward compounds into something really, really beautiful. You don't need to become something new. It's always that focus on, oh, I've got to become a new version of me. Because do you know what? Do you know what? Because the truth is, you're already becoming her. So instead of pressure, let's begin with real presence. And, here's how we can gently anchor what we've received today. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to email out a free integration planner and reflection journal, which you can download. And it will come in a few days' time. And so you make sure that you obviously, if you're here, you register for this webinar. If you listen to this recording after, make sure you check the description in this video so you can get hold of that. Um, so, this is your space to explore what's actually surfaced and, what's shifting. What your what your warrioress is calling out next. I would suggest choose one shift to embody this week and let it be really simple, soulful and really true to where you are. And I encourage you to really reflect and think about what spoke to you most today. And what are you taking with you into your next chapter? These are the things that you can really reflect on and have a look in that journal and really go through that. And I want to say to you too, you are not behind, because you're actually in the middle of becoming. Just look here, you're here today. You are watching this video, even if it is a recording of it. You're actually turning up and you're meant to be here. You are in the middle of the becoming. And in this moment, this breath, it's really sacred. And if you're feeling, a pull to go deeper and to continue this journey with support, with guidance and sisterhood, then I definitely warmly welcome you to explore some of the coaching that I do. I've got this Awaken the Inner Wellness Warrioress coaching, which is amazing. But for now, I just want you to breathe and I want you to anchor in what's really true to you. Your inner wellness warrioress is awakening, and this is really just the beginning. So, as I said, the next step, the empowered step, is that you will get this in the email in the next few days, or you can fill in the form that's in the description of this video. And you can download this free Warrioress Integration Planner, and you know, you can start to journal on the 5 shifts and pick one focus on this week. So, you know, you showed up today here, and I congratulate you for that. And you opened your heart, you let that inner wellness warrioress whisper, and um, maybe it's time to even roar. So it's time to integrate, the things when I send out that planner to you and start to integrate it. So, yes, that is my gift to you. But I am also got another gift for you, and that is my 45-minute discovery call. So we can sit down and just have a really heart-to-heart conversation, guys or girls, and really, really explore things in a deeper way. So I can get to know you and see where you want to go to be the best version of you. So I thank you so much for being here. And the most important thing here too is I'm going to stop sharing here now. And I am going to, hang on, what I'm going to do is I've got all these notes here I'm throwing on the table. These are people that oops, have, there's so many of them that have gone into the draw of winning some free coaching. That's actually a whole 3 month worth of coaching with me, with a new coaching program, the Awaken the Inner Wellness Warrioress. So I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to pick a winner here. Let's see who this winner is. And you can't really see, but it says Sandy Hayes, I think it is. Sandy Hayes, congratulations. I am going to be in contact with you. You are a very, very happy winner, I was going to say, when you find out that you won this program. Um, it has been a great pleasure to have you here watching. Um, you can book in for that discovery call by finding that link below, and I really look forward to guiding you through all of this. So thank you very much for joining me, and you will be receiving more information sent out to you if you registered for this webinar. Thank you so much, and have an awesome, awesome evening.